That was strange. I don't know what happened. To that I say, what gives? You know what I mean? What gives? But yeah, as I was saying, M is real high. I love Israel. They should be able to spend 40, 50. They should spend 100. They should be able to spend $100 million on the Democratic primary race in Michigan. I think that's the only democracy is when Israel gets to directly hand select Senate candidates. That's what I think. I hope people understand where I stand on this, you know? Why are you pocket watching? True. Why am I pocket watching the beautiful nation state of Israel? Chill, Hasan. What the hell is wrong with me, bro? That's crazy. Abdul held his own on
what you're going to do with
Israel,
my tax dollars and why you're sending them there when
on Pod Save America.
With all due respect, I mean, the question of whether Israel should exist or not is essential when you're answering whether U.S. tax dollars should go towards protecting that right to exist. And it sort of raised, let me just ask you the question, because I mean, I think you've made it a zero-sum game between like funding for example, schools and aid to Israel. The U.S. budget is large, and there's a question about, you know, to what degree Congress should prioritize spending on Israel, which gets at the central question for, I think, a lot of Jews in this country and a lot of Jews in your state is, you know, the Jewish identity and the Jewish statehood is essential to them. And they may think the war is a genocide in Gaza, and they may completely disagree with Bibi Netanyahu, but their Jewish identity is as essential to them as their American identity. So I wonder, when you are thinking about those people, and they may support you, how do you help them understand where Israel exists on your list of priorities? Is it immoral to support Israel at this point, or is there some other is there some other avenue?
Look, I was really grateful to grow up in a community with a large Jewish community, 40% Jewish. I had the privilege of being welcomed to shul and being welcomed to Seder and going to bar and bat mitzvahs growing up. I learned a lot about the Jewish faith. I learned so much about the Jewish contribution to American culture and society. And I will do everything I can to protect Jewish Americans in this country from anti-Semitism. I also, in as much as I love the Jewish people and Jewish culture, I love and revere Palestinians and Palestinian culture. And most importantly, I love and revere the people I am running to serve here in Michigan. So the idea that Michigan tax dollars should be sent to a foreign government that wants to foreclose on Palestinian rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination, which I hold equal to Jewish rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination. But the idea that our money is being sent to a government that wants to foreclose on one community's right to self-determination and being misused away from solving the needs of the people I'm actually serving is a pretty crazy thing. And in setting up this question about Israel's right to exist, you rightly point to the idea of whether or not there is American intervention that ought to be spent to enforce that. And I think the vast majority of Americans would say, whatever you think about Israel's right to exist, our tax dollars should not be used for the interests of a foreign government when they need to be used for the interests of the people living in our community on its own. So I believe in equal rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination for Palestinians and Jewish Israelis alike. But I also understand that in an era where people ask you, how are you going to pay for that when you want to give people health care, or how are you going to pay for that when you want to give people good schools, it's pretty crazy to be sending our money over there when it could be used over here.
So no funding to ensure the survival or future of the Jewish state.
Well, I turn that back around on you, Alex, and say, why is it our responsibility to ensure that?
I'm just asking because I think
why is it
understanding. I think that,
but hear me out. Why is that the essential frame from which we work? Like, why is it assumed that the United States ought to be in the business of backstopping a foreign government? Like, I'm just saying, like, I don't want ill will for Jewish Israeli people at all. I really don't. I just want equal rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination for all people. But the notion that somehow our tax dollars ought to secure the interests of a foreign government, like, this is the United States and our own kids don't have good schools, and you're telling me that that should be a primary concern over there? Like, imagine we said the same thing about any other country, any other one. Like, my family's from...
Yeah, does Estonia have a right to exist? Why don't you care about propping up Estonia? Now, there's also additional irony here, because Estonia, at least to my knowledge, has not committed a genocide with our tax dollars. You know what I mean? Like, the question should be, does Israel have a right to unlimited U.S. funding? And then to expand on that conversation, you can ask, does Iran have a right to unlimited U.S. funding? Does China have a right to unlimited U.S. funding? Why is it only Israel that gets to have this like God-given right, like it's in the fucking Constitution or something? You hate Estonia because you don't want to give them $300 billion. Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the fucking argument being like, hey, I hate how much you hate the beautiful nation of Lithuania because you don't want to give it $380 billion in the next 80 years. It's like, how dare you? How dare you? You want Estonia and Lithuania to no longer fucking exist. It's like, bro, that's crazy. Bro, read the comments on this video. Let me guess. As predicted, as is the case with every Pod Save America episode, the comments are going to be like, oh my God, Abdul is so fucking base. He's so intelligent, speaks like a human. His answer on Israel was perfection. I'm so jealous Michigan voters who get to vote for him. Abdul made the most impressive Senate candidate I've ever seen. It's always that way. It's kind of funny because like the Pod Johns are fine. They're all right. You know, they're not my enemies, right? But their audience always comes across like they've never heard this before. You know what I mean? Their audience, whenever I'm on, I love looking at the comments. Their audience is like, why do we never hear stuff like this? And it's so funny because it's like, there's a whole world out there. And it always makes me think like, what the hell are the Pod Johns saying to their audience? That whenever I go on, they're like, I've literally never heard someone speak like this before. This just like unlocked chakras in my mind. You know what I mean? You opened up my fucking third eye with pretty much the most like elementary anti-Zionist talking points. Super basic. To be honest, that's why I became a fan of you like 2021. Yeah, that's why I always like that's why I always give credit to the boys, to the Pod boys, to the Pod Johns, because they don't shy away from having these conversations and their audience is obviously primed for it. So that means they haven't been like negatively framing the left and constantly antagonizing against the left flank, which is something I do give a lot of credit to them over. Your appearance after the 2024 election on Pod Johns one time brought me over, never looked back. See, that's what I mean. Private meet and greet just for me in DC when it's not happening, cutie pie.
From Egypt, okay? Like, would it be crazy if somebody was asking me like, hey, do you think Egypt has the right to exist? People would be like, Egypt exists. I'm like, well, if somebody wanted to change the nature of Egypt, do you think the United States should be spending all of its money to make sure, or any of its money to make sure that that happens? And people are like, I don't know, what that seems like a different country's issue. But like, I'm just saying that like you can both say that Israel exists, but it doesn't have a right to my tax dollars. And it is not our responsibility as American taxpayers to take money away from kids who don't have good schools and give it to a country.
I'm audio only. Am I hearing farting? Wait, what? Where? Is there like an audio issue, chatters? What the fuck's going on?
To buy bombs and tanks. Like the idea that our conversation even questions that is itself a big question we should be asking. Like, why is this the frame of the debate?
Yeah, Chuck Schumer is here. He's sleeping in the bed, and he's a little bit loosey-goosey, you know? We know how his ass is. Oh, is it the coffee? Is it when I sip the coffee and you guys hear me drinking the coffee and you're like, oh, that sounds like a fart? Is that what it is? Anyway, speaking of Abdul, our boy, he got harassed by Jake Lang today. Let's take a look.
Why are you persecuting me?
We're gonna clap him out. The reason I wanted to clap him out to USA is because he doesn't hate me. He doesn't hate AG. He doesn't even hate you. You know what he hates? He hates America. He hates the idea of what America was always supposed to be.
Oh, God damn. That's what I'm talking about, Abdul. Oh, my God.
Of the people, by the people, and for the people. Where it should not matter the color of your skin, should not matter how you pray, should not matter who you love, that you can be fully and 100% America. He hates that America. He wants America to be small. He wants America to be like him. He wants America to be hateful. He wants America to be a place that does not include. And every day that we go out there and we knock on those doors, we make an argument about what America actually is. An America that is bigger than his hate. An America that is bigger than the small-mindedness that he brings to this. An America that has a bigger heart.
Dude, that's the reverse farm, baby. That's the clip. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Uno reverse. Someone comes after you trying to farm a clip, you just flip the script on them. You flip the script on him and you get the clip instead. He had to leave crying. Nobody was afraid of him. The room was cheering him away. Ooh, god damn, that's good. Yep. That's called clip maxing. That's called clip mogging.
Than the one that he has. An America that is bigger than a Donald Trump who thinks that some people don't get to belong here because of their color of their skin. An America that is bigger than the idea that we all can come together and pray how we choose or not pray at all. An America that is bigger than Mike Rogers and the corporate corruption that they all take to run these campaigns to pick our pocket. The America they believe in is one where a few people who look a particular way get to siphon off your money to make billions. That's the America they want. That's the America he represents. That's the America he's so mad he didn't get. And as much as that's an ugly display of the America they want for us, this here is a beautiful display of the America we can yet build.
You should stream with Abdul again. I will. That was fire.
Why are you persecuting me?
I have never been more jealous than I am of Michigan. Oh, never been more jealous of Michigan than I am now. Get to for this dude and make him a senator. Meanwhile, I got freaking Adam Schiff, dude. Great. That's great, man. I love it. I've never been more jealous of Michigan than I am now. Y'all get to vote for this dude and make him a senator. Is there a typo? Do we got a typo? Yeah, I got the close-up footage of the IRGC footage, or not the IRGC footage, but the footage of the IRGC strikes hitting Jordanian military installations. Yeah. It's Toyotathon in Maine. That's exciting. DSA Los Angeles 2026 annual convention has voted 76% in favor of the Run AOC Run resolution, calling AOC to announce a run for president. Yeah. Nice. Don't roll into Lansing wearing that blue and yellow shit. All right, chill, bro. My grandma told me she loves Adam Schiff. I can't, bro. Whatever, dude. It's your grandma. Let her stay. Let her be happy with what she thinks is going on. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's all right. Some of our elderly are a little delulu. It's okay. Who said Troy Story 26? Me. I'm Troy Story 26. Are you in support of William Lawrence for Michigan 7th? Of course I am. 100%. William Lawrence is phenomenal. Michigan is one of the best statewide slates out there. William Lawrence, Donovan McKinney, Kyle Blumquist, obviously our boy Abdul Sayed for Senate. They got a lot of talent out there. The person who's replacing Haley Stevens, Aisha Farouk, I think her name is. She's great too. Yeah, there are so many great candidates up and down that goddamn ballot. It's a phenomenal state and a phenomenal slate. Anyway, Keith's brother Brian is a pastor in Detroit on the confrontation with Lang. The same race is wearing an ankle bracelet, verbally attacked these sisters. Guy just called me an N-word. Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus Christ, dude. You should watch this. Very good video highlighting wealth inequality. Communist Wyomingite. I'm not going to watch that video from the richest town in America. It's not what you think. Maybe later. This is the man running for Haley Stevens' old oh yeah, this is the person that's running for Haley Stevens' old seat. He's up against Aisha Faruqi, who has rejected all money from the Israeli lobby. Yeah. Dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on with how much AIPAC wants to just maintain control over the state of Michigan. I don't know why they're so aggressive in Michigan. I guess they're aggressive everywhere. We're just focusing on Michigan, you know? Anyway, we got far left Democrats winning over Gen Z. Incredibly infectious. Let's take a look.
College Democrats of America are holding their annual convention this weekend in Washington. And look who made the guest list. Hasan Piker. And he's just one of the featured speakers who are raising eyebrows. Another sign that young voters are still shifting to the extreme left. Here to react is Gen Z political analyst and former Democrat Jamil Jackson. Jamil, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Look, you say one of the reasons...
Former Democrat. Oh boy, here we go.
you left the Democrat Party is because they were getting too extreme for you. You know, we see they excitedly announced here for this convention, Hasan Piker is going to be one of their speakers. Do you think this is something that Gen Z is falling for? Are you know, your friends and what you're hearing out there, is this going to be
A Trump just said your name? Wait, what? A Trump?
the path forward?
So far it is. Unfortunately, I beat Senator Fetterman to it. I left the Democratic Party over this specific issue because what the DSA and Hasan Piker is offering is actually pretty potent. They're offering...
Wait, what? This guy... Oh, you meant a Trump, like Laura Trump. Okay, I got scared. This guy left the Democratic Party because of me? That's so fucking funny. As a black person, I feel like the Democrats have become too extreme, so I became a Republican. Yeah, that's what he said.
Economic populism, but under that, what most people don't pay attention to is the anti-Semitism. It is the more radical and extremist and inflammatory.
Wait. So you are now voting for, you're a Republican because the Democrats got too extreme, so you went with the party that rides for the Klan now? Like, what the fuck? That's crazy. Yeah, the Hasan Piker wing of the party got too extreme for me, so I became a part of the party of racists. I became a racist because Hasan was too racist for me in the Democratic Party.
Language because they are ideologues. I had a friend who went to the DSA meeting a few weeks ago here in Philadelphia, and he said he can actually get behind the policies of expanding healthcare or even raise the minimum wage from $7.25 to maybe $15. But he says he's a hard no when it comes to opening up all of our prisons, abolishing ICE, abolishing the police, and honestly, open borders. What I say to...
Yeah, I love saying stuff like that. I'm a big fan of opening up all of the prisons. Man, how about we open the schools, okay? Talk about opening something. We got to open the schools, man. What the fuck? Oh, my God.
A lot of moderate Democrats, the establishment, is that they are losing this fight from the far left flank because they are too busy being the party of anti-Trump. They don't actually have a platform. They don't stand for anything, and they don't recognize why.
Well, apparently, the Democrats do stand for something. By your own admission, they stand for opening up the prisons, apparently, which is fucking news to me. But yeah, my favorite HasanAbi policy is legalizing crime. Yeah.
They lost to President Trump in 2024. So far left members like Hasan Piker, they're willing to demagogue and position themselves based on slogans for younger people, talking about economic anxiety, whereas it's sort of like they're pushing more extremist language. For example, they'll start with legitimate criticisms of Israeli domestic or foreign policy to begin with. And younger people might buy into those conversations, but it quickly turns into what Hasan Piker actually believes is the elimination of the Israeli state altogether. And here on the ground in Philadelphia, it's happening from the DSA endorsing local candidates. They're taking over the local machine based on identity politics. And they're
Wait, what? They're taking the local Philadelphia machine based on identity politics? Is literally, it's a 60% black district. What are you talking about? What identity politics? Like when Fox News says identity politics, they mean black people. Okay? That's what they mean. This guy's got to be new. This is what's going on. He's like still using some of the terminology that he would use as probably like an establishment Democrat. This seems like a new flip. This seems like a new convert. Obviously, it's not a real convert. He's not sincere. He's just a grifter. But he's still using terms that would work within the framework of a Democratic primary, and not terms that's ready for the big leagues on the Republican side. The Republican commentary here is supposed to be, here, I'll tell you what it is, okay? Since you're a recent convert, I'll explain it to you. So what you're supposed to say is like the Democrats got too extreme, that's why I left. And then I'm actually thankful that I left because the Democrats got too extreme, because I realized that the Republicans are not the party of racists. It's Democrats that are the party of the racists because they do identity politics, okay? What you're supposed to say... Write this down. What you're supposed to say is the Democrats got too extreme and I left the party because they were doing Jew hatred. They were doing hatred of all different kinds of minorities. And The real anti-racist party is the Republicans. The Republicans are not racist. It's the Democrats that are the party of the Klan, right? Historically, you're supposed to say Democrats are the party of the Klan. And that's why I left the party. And I'm grateful that I left the party, because now I realize that I was lied to about the Republicans, because that's how, they keep people in check to ensure that people vote for the Democrats over and over again by lying to us.
Pushing groups and candidates to have a specific stance on Israel, even if it's a school board election or even if it's something really small like controlling a municipality. Why are these certain local elections focusing on foreign policy in the Middle East? Yeah, so it's incredibly...
Yeah, great question. There's not a single district in the United States of America, no matter how local, no matter how small, that doesn't in some way, shape, or form get impacted by Israeli policies. Okay? It's insane when you say it like that, but it's true. Like, down to the municipalities. I'll give you statewide examples. Like, there's anti-BDS legislation in the state of Texas, for example, in every single district. As a matter of fact, when a smaller district decided to forego their tax dollars going to Israel, Greg Abbott came in and said that's anti-Semitic and that you will no longer get any statewide backing if you actually push through this initiative that you voted on, that you decided on. You have to keep sending tax dollars to Israel. In the state of Texas, teachers, public school teachers, have to sign a loyalty pledge, an anti-BDS legislation, a loyalty pledge to the state of Israel to basically promise that you'll never boycott or demand boycotts on the state of Israel. You'll never demand divestments from the state of Israel. You'll never demand sanctions on the state of Israel. That's real. That's a real thing, okay? So I love that these guys will turn around and be like, what is this like? Like, they did this with my Nithya Raman interview, right? When I asked Nithya Raman about, like, Israel-related shit, and they were like, why the fuck would the mayor of Los Angeles have a take about the state of Israel? Like, you fucking stupid. Yeah, you clearly didn't listen to the conversation, because I was asking her about why she got endorsements from the Democratic majority for Israel. I was asking her about her background and the decisions that she has made in favor of Israel as a council member. The real question should be, why the fuck is Los Angeles council members making decisions on behalf of what Americans can say or can't say about the state of Israel? Why is LAPD getting trained by the Israeli occupying forces? Why is that the case? Why is Israel spending $45 million in the Michigan Senate race? These are the real questions, right? I don't want to talk about Israel. I never want to think about Israel ever again for the rest of my life, okay? The problem is, you can't really hand wave this shit away by being like, you're being silly. Especially because when you say you're being silly, people like myself will turn around. People like myself will then turn around and actually tell you exactly why Israel is such a prescient issue in American domestic politics down to the fucking municipality. That's not my fault. You made the sandwich. Well, I guess in this case, Israel made the sandwich.
Infectious.
It is infectious. It is terrifying. And yeah, there seems to be no pushback for someone as extreme as Hasan Piker, and some of these radicals speaking on campuses. But we've seen how many, pro-Israel or Jewish speakers have consistently, Jamil, been canceled from a lot of these speaking engagements. And you talk to voters. We have a Fox News poll. And, whenever you ask voters, all voters, and when it comes to their thoughts towards socialism, look at this. They think all voters think 38% versus 53% to under 30. All voters think it's a good thing. Bad thing, 61% versus 47%. You can see the young voters are the ones who are driving this. What do you say, though, Jamil, whenever you talk to kind of your age group out there, when you talk to Gen Z, what would you say to them to kind of pull them back? Because it's pretty clear the establishment within the Democrat Party is having a hard time reining things in.
What I say to them is to stay the course. Right now, it seems really popular to go for socialism, and it's because that's the only thing the Democrats have changed about their platform since 2024. It's new, it sounds exciting, and they're willing to give another platform a chance just because President Biden has lost a lot of trust with the establishment Democrats and the core base of voters. The truth is, the establishment moderate Democrats are not willing to talk to young people. They're not.
Bro, you just left the party. Why would anybody listen to you about what the Democrats should do? I don't understand. All right, man, you left. Bye-bye. You know? I don't get it. How come you get to leave and then still complain from the outside? You know what I mean? You left, buddy. You left. The Democrats are actively demanding I be purged from the party, and I'm still kicking. You couldn't stand the heat, and you chose to get the fuck out of the kitchen. Fuck you mean? Here's what they should be doing. Why should anybody listen to you now? Am I crazy? Bro, this guy's running against Chris Rabb. Oh my God, that's awesome. He's gonna get cooked.
Building a viable platform for younger people. So it's really difficult for, let's say, someone like me or people who are just generally independent to talk to younger people when the DSA is giving younger people a seat at the table. They're inviting figures like Hasan Piker. They're more engaged online than 60-year-old moderate establishment Democrats.
Well, we are happy to have you as part of the Republican Party, Jamil. Welcome over to our side of the aisle. We hope to see more of that happen, and we appreciate you being on with us this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.